You're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Onyechi Evangeline Chioma. So in today's tutorials, I'll be showing you the process of drafting this particular masterpiece by Synthetic Cynthia. So if you find it interesting, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Then at the end of the video, I'm also going to share the process she used in achieving this masterpiece. So this particular design we are making is actually divided into two: the overbust corset and the V structure design. So we'll start with the overbust corset. So meanwhile, I have a detailed video on how to make an overbust corset. You can go check that in the description box, and for you to have more knowledge about overbust corset. So without wasting much time, let's dive into the tutorials. So I have some of the measurements already inserted. This is my shoulder line. Then from my shoulder, I measured my bust point line, then my under bust point line, my waistline, and the length of my basque. Okay, so from my waistline, I added 5 inches to it in order to get this basque line. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to impute my shoulder divided by 2 measurement. So I have my shoulder divided by 2 to be 7 inches. Then I'm going to mark, this is 7 inches. Then the neck width I'm using for this tutorial is 3 inches. The neck width is also 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead to make a curve over there for the neckline. So as soon as that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is that from this shoulder line, I'm coming down here by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. So I'm going to go ahead to connect it all the way to my neck width, just like that. Then to be on the safe side, I'm going to take this measurement here. This my shoulder divided by 2. I'm going to, mark it somewhere here and mark my bust measurement divided by 4. So whatever I have, I'll just tip it there. Then on this part, to get the length of my armhole, I'm going to divide my bust by 6 and add 1.5 to it. So when I do that, what I have is 7.5 inches. So on this dot where I marked, I'm going to come down here by 7.5 inches. Then I'm also going to come down here. This dot is actually supposed to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the line. So you can go ahead and retake your measurements to be on the safe side. Okay, so we are good to go with what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get the midpoint of this line. So this is the midpoint, and I'm coming out here by 1/2 inch. This is to get my armhole curve. So I'm going to connect the 3 points together, this point to this point and over to this point. Alright, so as soon as that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my dart measurement. My bust span divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches. So on this my bust line, I'm going to mark 3.5 inches. Then under bust, I'm going to reduce it by 1/2 inch. Whatsoever I have here, I'm going to reduce it by 1/2 inch. So I'll be marking 3 inches here. Then for my dart leg, I'm using total of 1.5 inches. So this is 1.5 inches. Then on this same place, I'm going to mark 3 inches. Then I'm going to add 1.5 inches to it. So I will do the same on the basque line. So once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines together. So on this, my bust point line, I'm coming down here by 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to connect the lines together to make a very nice curve. Alright, so as soon as that is done, the next thing you are going to do is to impute your side dart. So to get that, you need to take your bust circumference measurements. So my bust circumference is 36 divided by 4. I have about 9 inches. So this is 9 inches. And from there, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So this is the difference between your back half length and your front half length. If yours is bigger than 1 inch, let's say your back half length is 16 and your front half length is 17, you go ahead and record the difference. That's 1 inch. If it is more than that, then you go ahead and impute that. Okay, so you can just mark 1 inch, 0.75 inches from this bust point line. So this is to make the bust part not to be too pointy. All right, so next thing is to impute my shoulder dart. So to do that, I'm going to get the midpoint of this, my shoulder line. So this is the midpoint. Then I'm going to connect it all the way to my bust point line. So once that is done, the next thing is that I will impute my shoulder dart. And to do that, I'm going to use total of 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm dividing 1.5 inches between the two sides, 0.75, 0.75, and I'll connect it all the way to my bust point line. In order not to have shortage of fabric, I'm going to impute just 1 inch here, just 1 inch, and reconnect to this point. So this becomes my new armhole line. So the next thing you are going to do is to insert your waist measurement. My waist measurement is 30 divided by 4. I have 7.5, and this 1.5 inches that I took out from here, I'm going to replace it over here. So I'm going to, try and fold this part. So this is to avoid having shortage of fabric here. Okay, so this is what we have. The next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to fold up this particular side in order to insert my basque effect. So as soon as I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my neckline for the overbust. So if you want to snatch your waist, you can go ahead and snatch your waist. But I will leave a link to a video on how to do proper waist snatching in the description box. So I'm going to fold up this part in order to take my neckline. So you determine how deep you want your neckline to be. So I think I'll be coming off just ½ inch from my bust point line, or you can come up by 1 inch, but I think I prefer ½ an inch. So this is ½ an inch. So in order to get that kind of neckline, what you need to do is just to use your freehand method, and sketch whatsoever you want, making it a little bit curvy. After cutting, this is what we have. So for the neckline, I'm going to go ahead and bind these two pieces together on paper for the V design. So to start with, we are going to start imputing measurements, starting with the bust span measurement, half of our bust span measurement. So this is 3.5, and I'm marking 3.5 all the way down. So at this very point, you're going to take your dart leg. We're using total of 1.5 inches for our dart, and we're going to share it equally between these two parts. So 0.75 is going to this part and 0.75 to this part. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it using a straight line to my bust point line. Alright, so as soon as I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to get my bust measurements divided by 4, and this is what we have. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch, just like we did, and connect to somewhere here, maybe 0.75 to 1 inch. So once you're done with that, the next thing you are going to do now is to get a very nice curve here. So to do that, you need your former pattern paper. Just keep it and retrace your line. So we are going to be starting half inch from here. Okay, so this is for this V design to be able to cover up this particular one at the armhole area. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to go ahead and connect this line, making a very nice curve from here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to impute my measurement. So on this part, I'll take my waist measurement. So I'm starting from here, my waist measurement divided by 4. So this is my waist measurement, 7.5. So whatsoever I have here, I think I have 1 inch here. So I'm going to replace that here. Then I'm going to connect it all the way to my armhole. So but before I do that, I'll just go ahead and cover up this dark area. Alright, just open it up and reconnect the line together. Blend it. So as soon as that is done, the next thing I'm going to do is to get this my pattern and impute my curve. Or you can as well just fold it this way and take your line. It's actually the same thing. Alright, so this is what we have, and for the sleeve part, you're not going to be cutting out until you get your sleeve. So we are using total of 14 inches from here. So I'm going to get 14 inches all the way. So from this point, I'm going to connect to this line. You can make it in form of a straight line, however you want it to be. Just make, from here, just make sure that it's a bit curvy. Then take it up. Alright, so from here now, I'm going to take the measurements that I want. So if you want the sleeve to be bigger, you can go ahead and make it, but I'll be using total of 2.5 inches for my sleeve, or you can make use of 3 inches. 2.5. Then at this point, I'm going to mark 2.5. Then I'm going to blend the line. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my pattern. This is the particular pattern I'm using, though I will still share her own method at the end of this tutorial, so keep watching, don't skip any part. If you find these tutorials helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, so let's cut the back pattern. So for the back bodies, I have my shoulder line, then I have my chest line, then my waistline. My waistline is 1 inch shorter than the front waistline, because when I fold or stitch this particular end, I'll have the same thing. So can you see? It's the same thing. So without wasting much time, let's start drafting. I'm going to go ahead and put my armhole. Alright, so for this, I'm going to make use of 3 inches for my neck width, just like the first one. Then the neck depth is just 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead to square a line here. Then from here, I can just simply make a very nice curve. So from here, I'm coming down by 1 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect it. So what I'm going to do next is that from here, I'm going to connect it all the way to this line. So this is for my back bodies. Then I'm going to impute my dart measurement. So this is 3 inches, 3.5, and we're using 1 inch for my darts. So I'm going to impute just 1.5 inch on both sides. Then on this upper side, the chest line, I'm going to mark 3.5 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines together. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my measurement, my waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to reinsert this 1 inch we took out for that. Then I'm going to connect to my shoulder line. If you want to go snatch your waist, you can go ahead and do that. Then for the back opening, we are using total of 1 inch on the waistline and 2 inch on this chest line. So I'm going to go ahead, connect the line together. So I'm going to have my eyelet here. Then from here, we are going to have a kind of opening at the back.